Oh, so hey people, it's been a while since I did any kind of videos. So one of the ones that people keep asking me about is how to create the perfect pleats when you're puckering the front part of your moccasin. So what I've done here is I've taken my templates and traced them out, the foot and the vamp. Just make sure that you pay attention to where the notches are on the side of your moccasins. So basically the front and, or actually the start and kind of like where you're going to end up finishing. I also trace out the vamp, like I said. You want to make sure where your center of your vamps is on the front and then on the side. Toe and the tip of the toe on the vamp. Same as the moccasin. So you could see where your points kind of like line up. And creating the vamps is actually really quite easy. I kind of like use kind of like a connect the dot kind of method and using two different colors. What you're going to do is you're kind of just going to equal out the spaces on your pattern pieces. So I usually just find the center of either side. We'll just do one side first, just so you don't just get too confused. So I find the center and the center of that kind of quarter section. The more pleats you want, the more tick marks you're going to put in. So once you start sewing, the red and the blue dots are actually going to make a little bit more sense. So, so here we go. So we're just going to put a little bit more blue dots kind of like in between the sections where you've already started. And we'll do the opposite side as well. So I always start with the blue pen first. Here we go. And what you're going to do next is you're going to switch over to a red pen, and then you're just going to put red tick marks in between the blue and so forth. So one of the most important things to kind of like to keep in mind when you're doing this is that you don't want to put any tick marks on either side here. So you're going to follow wherever the center of your vamp is. You're going to line it up with your notch here. So that little half point tick mark is actually going to go over to the side. So this section here should measure to this section, and then you're going to repeat it on the opposite side. So we're going to go back to our blue pen, and what we did here, we're going to do the exact same thing on the front part of our moccasin or our moccasin sole. So we find the center. You see that corresponds with that line, and then the center here, which corresponds with that center that you put there, and here and so forth. So we're just going to add in the blues. Okay, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So center, center, center. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're just going to fill in with the red dots or the red tick marks as well. If you can see that. I'm holding my phone at the same time while I'm doing this. Little tricky, might be a little shaky, but I hope you get kind of like the gist of what I'm doing here. So when all the tick marks are in place, as you can see, right on the vamp, and then on the front part of your sole of your moccasin, the number of tick marks here, blue and red, should correspond to the number of tick marks at the front part of your moccasin. So it should be all the same. If you're working with black leather, it might be a little bit more harder. You could just do dots and stripes, but hopefully this will work for you when you're kind of like trying to figure out how to do pleating. You're going to start sewing the side of your moccasin first, and then you're going to start connecting the colors together. So blue to blue, red to red, blue to blue, and so forth. I always start on one side of my moccasin and then I sew all the way around to the opposite side. Make sure that you tick the centers. I always leave the side open where I'm going to start sewing, and then I tack down on the opposite side. So hopefully that makes sense to you. You could always message me and I could try to help you out. So good luck and Happy New Year, everyone.